Homogeneous differential equations. Okay, by definition, a function f of xy is said to be homogeneous if, after multiplying all of the variables of the function by a quantity s, the function can be expressed as, so okay, initially we have a function f of xy. Now we're going to replace x by sx, y by sy. Kaya ang sabi, multiply natin lahat ng variables by s. Then by simplifying, we will arrive at s raised to n function of xy. So meaning, common sa lahat ng terms natin dyan yung s raised to n. Kaya pagka pinactor mo yung s raised to n, ang magiging kasama niya is yung function na original, which is f of xy. So ito nga yung equation na yan ay homogeneous of degree n. Okay, tingnan natin. So the equation m dx plus n dy equals 0, where m and n are functions of x and y, is homogeneous differential equation if m and n are homogeneous functions of same degree. So dapat same degree yung m and n natin. So para siya masabing homogeneous differential equation. Okay, so paano malalaman kung yan ay homogeneous? Try natin. So mag-sample tayo. So we're going to determine whether the given function is homogeneous. So number 1, we have f of xy equals xy minus 2x squared. So sabi doon, so we're going to multiply all the variables by a quantity s, or we're going to replace x by sx and y by sy. Okay, palitan natin lahat ng x ng sx, lahat ng y ng sy. Then our f of sx, sy will become, so we're going to replace x by sx, y by sy. Then again, x by sx, so we have quantity sx squared. Now simplifying, s times s squared, then x times y, we have xy, minus, so we're going to apply laws of exponents, s squared, x squared. That's why we have 2s squared, x squared. So ngayon, meron silang common na s squared. So ito ang common, s squared and s squared. So pwede siyang i-factor out. So labas yung s squared na yan, we will have s squared times xy minus 2x squared. Then, by inspection, makikita natin na yung naiwan sa loob ng ating parenthesis, ito, so yan ay yung ating original function, which is f of xy. Diba? After natin i-factor out si s squared, ang kalalabasan niya is yung mismong function, xy minus 2x squared. That's why we have s squared times the function of xy. So, na-express natin siya as s raised to n times function of xy. So, ibig sabihin, ito ay homogeneous function of degree 2. Yun, s squared kasi tayo. So, okay. So, ganyan yung pag-check kung ang function ay homogeneous. Okay. Lipat tayo ng example number 2. So, we have f of xy equals x plus 3y minus square root of x squared minus y squared. So, actually, isang paraan ng pag-check, pagka wala diyang radicals, check mo lang yung degree ng bawat term. Degree lang ng bawat term. Add nyo lang yung mga exponents kung nakaproduct yung variables. Kaya kung meron kang, let's say, x squared minus xy plus, let's say, 2y squared. So, ito ay homogeneous of degree 2, no? 2. Ito, 1, 1. So, meron ka rin diyang 2. Ito rin ay 2. So, pare-pareha silang degree 2 bawat term mo. So, homogeneous na meron tayo dyan. So, yun yung isang paraan, ano? Kahit di ka na magpalit ng Sx at Sy. Okay. Then, dito naman, is meron dyang radical. Magpalit tayo ngayon ng Sx and Sy. Palitan natin. And we will have Sx plus 3 times Sy for y minus square root of, so replace x by Sx, quantity squared tayo. Na-replace y by Sy, kaya minus quantity Sy squared. Now, simplifying, we will have Sx plus 3 Sy minus square root of, again, we're going to use laws of exponents. So we have s squared, x squared, s squared, y squared. Ito sa loob, common dyan yung s squared. Okay. Then we have sx plus 3sy minus square root of s squared. So, lalabas yung s squared na yan, magiging x squared minus y squared yung nasa loob ng ating parenthesis. Since ito ay perfect square, pwede mo siya ilabas sa radical. O, kunin mo kanyang square root to, no? So, yan. Pwede natin yung ilabas. Kunin yung kanyang square root. Then, we have sx plus 3sy minus, ilabas mo yun, s, square root of x squared minus y squared. Then, pag chinek natin bawat term, so common yung s. Kaya pwede mo siya ulit i-factor out. Then we will have s times the quantity x plus 3y minus square root of x squared minus y squared. So again, ito, yung x plus 3y minus square root of x squared minus y squared, yan ulit yung ating original function na f of xy. So ayun siya, x plus 3y minus square root of x squared minus y squared. So multiplied by s. Then, yan nga yung s times function of xy. So meron ka lang s raised to 1. So therefore, this is a homogeneous function of degree 1. So degree 1 tayo kasi s raised to 1 lang. Okay, so ganyan yung pag-check kung ang function ay homogeneous. Okay. So, paano ngayon solve yung isang homogeneous differential equation? So, paano gagawin natin? Okay, erase muna natin lahat ng sulat. Ito sa solution. To solve a homogeneous differential equation, so we're going to use the substitution y equals bx or x equals uy. So meaning we're going to replace y by bx or replace x by uy. So kayo bahala. Ang note lang dito, u and b are other variables. So okay, gagamit tayo ngayon ng panibagong variables na u and b. Ngayon, sa ating gagawing pagpapalit ng variable, so kayo bahalang pumili kung papalitan mo yung y or papalitan mo yung x. Sabi or lang, So, kayo ang bahalang pumili sa dalawa. So, after using this substitution, so we will make the equation, so we can make the equation separable. So, yun siya, yun ang purpose niya rito. Kaya tayo meron diyang gagawing substitution para yung equation natin magiging separable. Then we can use a separation of variables. So, okay. Kumbaga ito, ayusin mo yung equation using other variables. Then babalik tayo sa first solution ng differential equation, which is a separation of variables. Okay, tuloy natin. Sample tayo. So, we're going to find the general solution of the following differential equations. Number 1, we have y dx plus quantity y minus 2x dy. So dito sa pagka wala tayong kasamang radicals, so pwede kayo diyang mag-check lang na exponent ng degree ng bawat term. Ito kasi ay degree 1 y dx. Pag inayos mo to, di ba yan isang term ito, y raised to 1 yan, degree 1 din, x raised to 1, degree 1. So para siyang first degree, kaya yan ay homogeneous. Okay. Solve natin. First solution tayo. Okay. So again, by inspection, nakita natin na ito ay homogeneous differential equation of degree 1. So, we're going to use x equals uy. So, kung nagagamitin ko solution, sabi doon, we can use y equals dx or x equals uy. So, in my first solution, I will going to use x equals uy. So, meaning I will going to replace x by uy. So, since meron tayong papalitan na variable na x, kailangan palitan mo rin yung dx. Sige, palitan natin yung dx. Kumbaga dito, aalisin mo lahat ng variables na x. Kailangan siya maging u and y ang gagawin. Sige. By differentiation, since sabi doon, ang u at b ay mga variables, so meron ka dyang u times y, product yan ng variables, dalawa, u and y. So we're going to use a derivative of a product. Ito, sa derivative dyan. So, differentiate natin yan. Derivative ng x ay dx equals, di ba, meron tayong first function, derivative ng second function, plus second function, derivative ng first. Ito yung sa may derivative ng product, di ba, u db plus b du, kung meron ka ub. Kaya u dy plus y du ang meron tayo ngayon dito. So, yan ang katumbas ng dx. Okay. Now, our equation will become, so we have y dx plus the quantity y minus 2x dy equals 0. So we're going to replace x by uy and dx by u dy plus y du. Okay. So replace dx by u dy plus y du. That's why we have y times u dy plus y du plus the quantity y minus, so replace x by uy. Yun, naging siya, 2uy dy equals 0. Okay, using natin. Will become u times y dy plus y squared du plus, dito naman, pagbukurin natin to, y dy minus 2uy dy equals 0. So, yun siya, Pagbukod lang natin. Kasi baka meron dyan pwedeng pagsamahin, na common. So, yun nga. Meron nga pwede tayo i-combine, yung similar. So, ito, uy dy kay negative 2uy dy. So, parehas yan. Parehas silang uy at dy. Pwede natin i-combine. Simplify natin. We have y squared du plus y dy. So, pag pinag-add dyan 1, minus 2 is negative 1. Kaya negative uy dy na lang ang meron tayo. Okay. Dito, para ma-separate may variables, since dalawa dyan ang dy, pwede mo yung i-factor, Ayusin natin yan. Kailangan dyan mapaghiwalay ang variables. So, meron siyang y, dy. Common yung y, pwede mo siya i-factor out. Lalabas mo rin ang dy. So, by factoring, y squared du, di ba, ilabas natin si y dy, labas yung y, labas yung dy, kaya dito may iwan 1 na lang. Kasi nilabas mo lahat. Minus, nilabas mo yung y, saka yung dy, may iwan ay u. Kaya meron tayong quantity 1 minus u times y dy equals 0. Again, we have y squared du plus 1 minus u, y dy equals 0. Okay, usin natin. Okay, tuloy natin. Again, we have y squared du plus the quantity 1 minus u y dy equals 0. So the variables can now be separated. Kasi ayan na, nakita natin ito ay y squared du. Dapat nakasama niya ay u. Ito naman, dy dapat nakasama y. So nagkapalit yung variables nila. So pwede tayo dyan mag-separate by dividing the equation by y squared and 1 minus u. So, ayan nga, ano, divide the equation by the product of y squared and 1 minus u. That's why we have 1 over y squared times 1 minus u multiplied by the whole equation, y squared du plus the quantity 1 minus u, y dy equals 0. Multiply natin per term. So, y squared du over y squared 1 minus u plus 1 minus u y dy over y squared 1 minus u equals 0. Okay, so makakancel ngayon yung y squared. Cancel dito yung 1 minus u, yung y, saka isang y sa baba. So, ayun, ano, common. Cancel natin. Then, simplify natin. We will have du over 1 minus u, saka plus dy over y na lang equals 0. So, now, meron tayo ngayong na-separate na variables na. So, sila na ay magkakahiwalay. Kasama na ng du yung u, kasama na ng dy yung y. And we're now going to integrate. Diba? Yun yung ating step sa, sa separation of variables eh. After mo ma-separate yung variables, integration tayo. Okay. Now, integrate na natin the resulting equation. We have the integral of du all over 1 minus u plus the integral of dy over y equals constant c. So, integration, ano? Okay. So, dito, since meron na tayong variable na u, gamit tayo ng b. So, let b equals 1 minus u. Hindi mo kasi pwedeng gawing let u. Di ba? Sana tayo sa let u eh. Kaso letter u kasi meron tayo dyan. So, maggamit tayo ibang variables. Gamit tayo v naman. So, let b equals 1 minus u. If we're going to differentiate that, that would be dv equals 0 minus 1 du. Or we have negative du. So, dapat ang derivative ay negative du. Ayusin natin. So, meron tayong du all over 1 minus u plus dy over y equals c. So, dapat ang ating derivative ay negative du. Yung dapat ang meron tayo para siya ma-integrate. So, gagawin natin, since ito ay du lang, multiply natin yung taas by negative 1. So, multiply by negative 1. Then, labas tayo ng negative 1. Para negative 1 times negative 1 is still positive d yung meron tayo. So, equal sila. Ibig sabihin, alam na bago. Nag-multiply tayo ng negative 1 para lang maging negative si du. Labas tayo ng negative 1 para positive pa rin yun. Pag sinimplify, negative times negative, still we have positive du. Ito lang yung ano, na pag may kulang sa iyong numerator, para siyang manipulation, multiply mo lang kulang, tapos yung, kung negative naman yan, labas ka na negative. Kung whole number yan na positive, baka 1, multiply ka ng 2, labas ka ng 1/2. Reciprocal naman lalabas mo, no? Sige. Tuloy natin. Then, sinimplify yan. Negative du na yan. Di ba? Negative of negative du over 1 minus u plus dy over y equals c. Kaya ngayon, dito, ito ngayon ang katumbas ng db. Di ba? So, meron ko ngayon dyang db. Then, 1 minus u is v. So, yun. So, we have integral, negative integral of dv over v ang katumbas nito. So, yan ay integrable by ln. Ito rin, ano, ln to. So, we will have negative ln of 1 minus u plus ln y equals c. Since parehas siyang may ln, gawin mo ln yung c. Di ba? Negative ln of 1 minus u plus ln of y equals ln of c. Para siya mas madaling i-simplify. Okay. Tuloy natin. Erase muna natin lahat ng dapat i-erase. Okay. Sa palit ng pwesto lang, ano, nilagay ko lang yung positive. Ito na kayo positive para mas madaling ayusin. So, ln y minus ln of 1 minus u equals ln c. So, ilan tayo huminto. Tuloy natin. So, we have ln y minus ln of 1 minus u equals ln of c. Again, by property of logarithm, di ba yung meron tayong logarithm of m minus logarithm of n. So, pwede mo yung i-express sa single logarithm. So, magkakaroon ka ng logarithm of m over n. So, yun ang ating property. Kagaya dito, ano? Yung part na yan. So, kaya yan, magiging ln of y over 1 minus u equals ln of c. Kagaya sa dinerive ko sa inyo doon sa separation of variables, pag ito in-apply ng property, mawawala yung ln, ano? Lagay mo siya exponential. So, magkakaroon lang tayo dyan ng y over all over 1 minus u equals c. Applying property, ano? Yung ating shortcut. Hindi siya kinakancel. Kasi, when we are going to use the property of exponential and logarithmic, yan ang kalalabasan yan. No? Okay. Now, sa umpisa, sabi natin, palit tayo, di ba, doon na x equals uy. If we're going to solve for u, so u is equal to x over y. O, divide lang, no, both sides by y. Then we can solve for u. Okay. That's why we have y all over 1 minus x over y equals c. Or we will have y equals c times 1 minus xy. Cross multiply lang ginawa ko. Ano? Cross multiply ako dito. Itong buo na to, ating denominator, multiply kay c. So, yun yun. Then again, para ma-simplify mo yan, ito ay magiging, di ba, c times the quantity. O, meron tayo LCD na y. LCD is y. Di ba ito ay over 1 ito eh. No? Over 1. So, y divided by 1 is y. Multiplied by 1, we have y. Minus y divided by y is 1. Multiply mo sa x. So, x. So, ayan siya ngayon. Then, itong y, di ba yan ay equal sa y. Cross multiply doon. So, magkakaroon tayo ngayon ng y squared. Ito, no? Yun. Y squared equals c times y minus x. So, we have our final answer. Y squared equals c times y minus x. Okay. Erase natin ulit. Let's have another solution. Now, I will going to use y equals vx. So, instead of using x equals uy, I will be using y equals vx. Okay. Again, differentiate natin. So, dy equals b dx plus x db. Again, ito ay product. Kasi ang v ay variable. Same with x. So, we have derivative of a product. First function, derivative of the second function, plus second function, derivative of the first function. Kaya meron tayong b dx plus x db. So, again, para siyang ano, u db plus b du. Ano, yun na meron tayo. Pagkaya na u times b. Okay. Tuloy natin. So again, we have y dx plus quantity y minus 2x dy equals 0. So meron tayong bagong katumbas kay y, which is bx. May katumbas sa bagoy dy, b dx plus x db. Palitan natin yung y and dy. Para maiwan ngayon ay variables na x and v. Meron tayo. Okay. So we will have, so replace y by vx. Kaya vx dx yan. Plus, again, y is bx minus 2x. Then replace dy by b dx plus x db equals 0. Then multiply natin. Ayusin natin yung equation. So, rewrite lang ito. bx dx. Multiply mo to dito. We will have b squared x dx. Multiply din sa isa b x squared db. So, yun yun. Minus 2 bx dx minus 2 x squared db equals 0. So, Okay yun. Doon tayo ngayon sa common. Ano, pwede i-combine. Ayusin natin. We have here Vx dx. Ito yung kamukha niya, Vx dx. Ito, b squared x. Ito ay bx squared. X squared. So, magkakaiba sila. Ito lang, parehas itong Vx dx. Pwede i-combine. Okay. Ito muna, rewrite muna to. Rewrite b squared x dx. Pagsamahin itong dalawa na to, 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So, that's why we have negative bx dx. Rewrite ito, bx squared dv minus 2x squared db. So, inayos ko na siya. Magkatabi yung dx saka yung db para madali siya i-factor mamaya. Pagka tayo ay magse-separate na ng variables. So, ganun lagi. Ayusin nyo muna. Magkakatabi dapat ang dx at saka ang db para madaling ayusin. Okay. Ayusin natin. Again, we have b squared x dx minus bx dx plus bx squared db minus 2x squared db equals 0. Yan yung ating kaninang solution. Tayo na hinto. Okay. So, dito, magkasama kasi dito yung v saka yung x. Ano? So, bukod natin yung x. Kasi common nila dyan. Ang common is x dx. So, yun. Nilabas ko yung x saka dx. Nagkahiwalay ngayon yung x saka yung v. Diba? Kasi pwede mo separate yan. Tingnan nyo, paano siya paghihiwalay yung variable. Ito kasi combination ka ng v and x. So, kailangan natin i-separate yung variables. So, factor natin yan. May iwan dapat b lang saka yung x. Ayun, meron tayong b squared minus b times x. Ito rin, say combination na naman ng v saka ng x. So, meron tayo dyan. So, pag nawala yung x squared, may iwan lang is b. Kaya gagawin natin, labas yung x squared, labas yung db, and we will have b minus 2x squared db. So, yun siya, Diba? Pag ito ay nilabas natin, saka ito, kung may iwan sa inyo, ay v minus 2. So, mahihiwala na yung b minus 2 kay x squared. So, ayun nga, anong nangyari. Dito rin, Pag nilabas natin itong x dx, may iwan v squared minus b. So, nagkahiwalay yung v and x as factors. So, ngayon, pwede mo na siyang i-separate by division ulit. Kasi ito ay dx, dapat mawala ito. Ito ay db, dapat mawala yung x squared. So, we're going to divide the equation by x squared and b squared minus b to separate the variables. Para siya ma-separate. Okay. So again, the variables cannot be separated. So we're going to divide the equation by x squared and v squared minus b. Okay, divide natin. So we have 1 over product of x squared and v squared minus b multiplied by the equation b squared minus bx dx plus b minus 2x squared db equals 0. So divide natin ngayon per term. Unang term muna tayo. So over the product of x squared and b squared minus b plus second term b minus 2 x squared db over x squared b squared minus b equals 0 na yan. Diba? 0 over any number is 0. Then, we can cancel b squared minus b. Cancel na yan. Cancel din dito yung x. Then, cancel yung x squared. Okay. Simplify natin. Rewrite natin ulit. Meron ko lang dx over x. Na lang ay v minus 2 db all over b squared minus b equals 0. So, yun ang kinalabasan. Tignan nyo muna. Itong una, integrable na ito di ba? Dx over x. Okay. Usin natin. Again, we have dx over x plus v minus 2 db all over b squared minus b. So, yun ang meron tayo. Equals 0. Okay. So, again, the variables are now separated. We can now integrate the resulting equation. Ito yun. So, yan yun. Integrate natin. So we have the integral of dx over x plus the integral of b minus 2 db all over b squared minus b equals constant c by integration. Okay, itong una, integrable yan. Yan ay ln x lang, ano, dx over x. So integrable agad. Doon tayo ngayon sa pangalawa. b minus 2 db all over b squared minus b. So, di ba sabi ko dati, check nyo muna kung pwede mag-let u sa ating denominator. Pag ito ay nag-let u tayo, so ang derivative niyan ay 2v minus 1. So ito v minus 2. No? So medyo pag tayo magmamanipulate pa, haba pa. Kung sana ito ay 2b, ano, minus 1. So integrable ito. Ano? Pwede kita mag-let u lang. Or kung yan ay b, di ba? Minus 1 half. Pwede ka mag-times 2 lang. So hindi siya ganun eh. So hanap tayo ng paraan. Okay. Itong b squared minus b ay pwede nating i-factor, di ba? Common niya ay b. So nilabas ko yung b, magiging b times b minus 1 na lang siya. Kasi common ang b, so pwede siya i-factor. Pinactor natin para magamit natin yung integration of rational fractions sa part na yan. So for the integral of b minus 2 db all over b minus b times b minus 1, so we're going to use one of the techniques of integration, which is integration of rational fractions. Okay. Meron tayo diyang distinct linear factors. Dalawa, b and b minus 1, ang ating mga linear factors. Okay. So we have the integrand b minus 2 all over b times b minus 1. So we're going to, diba, express that or resolve that into sum of partial fractions. Bawat factor ay may isang partial fraction na katumbas. So yung b, ito yung isang fraction niya. B minus 1, ito yung kanyang katumbas na fraction. That's why we have a over b plus b over b minus 1. So meron tayong sum ng partial fractions na katumbas ng ating rational. So ito yung ating proper fraction. Okay. Now, we're going to multiply the equation by the denominator v times b minus 1 to eliminate fractions. Okay. So we have b times b minus 1. Multiply mo sa buong equation. B minus 2 over b times b minus 1 equals a over b plus b over b minus 1. Okay, multiply mo dito sa una, magkakancel lahat yun. That's why we have b minus 2 na lang. Multiply mo doon kay a, cancel si b. Then we have a times b minus 1. So multiply mo kay b, cancel si b minus 1. That's why we have b times b. Yan lang meron tayo. Okay. Now instead of using the coefficients, sa halip na tayo ay mag-equate ng coefficients, mas madaling isolve yan kapag gagawin nating 0 yung a o kaya 0 yung b. Kasi madaling ayos sa equation eh. No? Assume lang tayo ng value. Kailan siya masi-0 itong a pag ang b mo ay 1, di ba? 1 minus 1. So 0 na yan. Wala na kagad yung a doon. Ngayon, pag nilet natin na yung value ng v ay 0, so wala na itong letter b. 0 na kagad to, no? So, ganoon tayo para mas madali. Assume tayo ng mga values ng v. Okay. If v equals 0, simulan natin dyan. So, our equation, b minus 2 equals a times b minus 1 plus b times b. So, replace b by 0. So, we have 0 minus 2 equals a times 0 minus 1 plus b times 0. So, dyan pala, yung b ngayon masi-0 na. So, meron tayo ngayong b na 0. So, wala na yan. Then, we will have negative 2 equals a times negative 1. Or divide by negative 1 natin magkabila. Kakaroon ka ng a equals positive 2. So, yun kaagad. Ano, value ng a is positive 2. Mas madali siya i-solve. Okay, tuloy natin. Now, if we let v equals 1, kagaya sabi ko kanina, para mag-0 yung a, So our equation is b minus 2 equals a times b minus 1 plus b times b. So replace b by 1 and we will have 1 minus 2 equals a times 1 minus 1 plus b times 1. Again, ito ngayon ay nag-0, no? Part na to. So yan ay 0 yung part na yan. Then, 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Equal yan sa b times 1. Then, we can solve for the value of b. b equals negative 1. Okay, so meron tayong nakuhang a and b. Yung a ay positive 2, yung b ay negative 1. Then, again, we have the integral of dx over x kanina plus integral of b minus 2 db over b times b minus 1 equals c. Itong part na to, meron niyang katumbas na sum ng partial fractions, yung a over v plus b over v minus 1. O, tuloy natin. Ito kanina, ano, yan. Itong part na to, meron niyang katumbas na sum ng partial fractions. Ito yun. Yung ating kanina solve using integration of rational fractions. Okay. Palitan natin yung a and b. Okay, we have dx over x, then a is 2, b is negative 1. Ayusin pa natin. Dx over x, labas ko yung 2. So we have db over b minus, ito, no, negative 1 kasi yan. So negative and positive will become negative. So we have minus integral of db over v minus 1 equals c. Okay. Tuloy natin. So lahat yan is ln, ano? Pag in-integrate natin. Sa ln, papasok. Ito ay dx over x, ln x lang yan. dv over v is ln b. Dito, if we let u equals v minus 1, then differentiate natin. Differentiating, we have du equals 1 or dv. Kaya meron ka ditong sa part na to na du over u. Yan ang meron tayo dyan. So du, ang katumbas ng dv, then v minus 1 is u. So we have du over u or ln u. Kaya meron ka dyan ln u. So ln u, wherein u is b minus 1. That's why we have here ln of b minus 1. So yun siya, no? Okay. Then we have ln x. Again, another property, ano, of logarithm. Ito. Itong 2, pwede mo yung gawing exponent ng b. Diba? Ito yung n logarithm of x. So magkakaroon ka ng logarithm of x raised to n. So yun yung property ng logarithm. Ano? In-apply doon. Kaya meron tayong ln x plus ln of b squared na nangyari. Okay. Minus ln of b minus 1 equals, ln sin na tayo kasi lahat sila naka-ln. Ano? Gaya ng ating mga examples sa separation of variables. Okay. Ito muna ng una, dalawa, ano, ginawa natin. Diretso na lang sagot dyan eh. Ito muna ng una, plus yan, so pwede mong gawing product. So magkakaroon tayo ng ln x times b squared minus ln of b minus 1. So yun yun. Ngayon, itong dalawa na to, difference, magiging quotient tayo. Kaya magkakaroon ka ng ln of x b squared, quotient na yan, over b minus 1. Ito nga yun, ano yun, badaga ganun. Okay. So, b squared. Then, again, we have ln of x b squared over b minus 1 equals ln c. Again, by property, di ba, yung ating na-derive nung nakakaraang solution sa separation of variables, may iiwan na lang dyan is x b squared over b minus 1 equals c. Again, sa ating simula ng solution, sasabi natin, y equals vx. Then solving for v is now equal to y over x. So, yun siya, y over x. Yung b natin. Then, we will have x times y over x quantity squared, kasi b squared dyan, all over y over x minus 1 equals c. So, yun na meron tayo. Okay, tuloy natin. Again, we have x times the quantity y over x squared all over y over x minus 1 equals c, x, y over x squared. Simplify natin. So, dito, nasa part na to, bukod natin. Kasi ito ay magiging x times y squared over x squared. So, yun siya, no? Kasi yun ay y over x quantity squared. So, makakancel itong isang x. So, cancel yan. Cancel ito. Kaya meron tayo ngayon ditong y squared over x. Meron tayo. And then ako ito, yung part ngayon na to, yan, ay multiply dito kay c. So, ito yun. Y squared, sinayin mo sa taas. Y squared over x equals c times y over x minus 1. So, yun ang nangyari doon. Okay. And then again, itong part na naman na to, kailangan mo na naman siyang LCD, yung sa fraction. So, LCD ay x. X divided by x is 1. Multiplied by y, we have y. Operation minus. Again, ito ay whole number, so over 1 yun. X divided by 1 is x. Multiply mo sa 1, x. So, ito yun. So, we have y squared over x equals c times the quantity y minus x over x. So, ito yun. Ngayon, since meron ka dyan single fraction, magkabilang side, over sa x parehas, pwede mo na i-cancel yung x. So, cancel na to. Cancel na yan. Kasi by cross multiplication, di-divide mo na ng x magkabila kasi common naman nila. Then, we will have y squared equals c times y minus x. Same answer tayo kanina nung ginamit yung uy. So, kayo bahala. Gagamit kayo ng x equals uy or y equals bx. So, may pagkakataon na mas madali ang solution kay x equals uy compare doon kay y equals bx. Kagaya dyan, di ba? Nung nag-ano tayo, y equals bx, nag-ano pa tayo ng rational fractions. So, mayroong case naman na mas maiksi ang solution ni y equals bx. Malalaman niyo naman kung yung kalalabasan, based doon sa kanyang resulting equation. Kung integrable ba siya or hindi. So, yan ang homogeneous differential equation. Simplify mo lang siya, then babalik tayo kay separation of variables.